So again, we're talking about the next section on your agenda was for them to take a few notes based on a slide that you moved across your screen entitled. Let me see. Oh, what were they taking their notes on? Steps and accidentals. Steps and accidentals. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why it's good to collect notes. So for that section of your agenda, back to my original question, do you feel like the note-taking part of that agenda was successful and effective to reach your desired outcome?
I think, based on the second class, a lot of them remembered the material. I still had people not engaged, so kind of in between whether it was really successful or not, because some of the kids that really knew the answers were the ones who paid attention or, known it already, or kind of quicker learners.
Okay, all right. And so then we moved from that into warming up.
Mm-hmm.
And so your warm-up, how do you feel how effective that was?
I think they do well when you get them standing up.
Okay.
All right, let's go, I almost think that I should reverse the order of my class. When I've done the warm-ups first, it's been a lot more effective. Just get them immediately up, sing, and then maybe, break from singing, then do the do now.
Okay.
Then we'll review some theory, and then we'll get to sectionals rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to reverse my order a little bit next time.
Yeah, I think that's great that you're already thinking about that, because I wondered the same thing whenever I was collecting my notes. I actually think I typed that up one time. So wonderful. I'd like to see how that changes for you, and we'll look at that maybe the next time around, see how that works. And then it was time to break out from the warm-up into sectionals. And let's talk about that for just a second. How effective do you think that chunk of your agenda is?
For that class, not successful, because the last class could handle it. And I think once we get further into the pitches and further into the music, I think it'll increase. It'll be more successful because they'll be more focused on more where we are.
Mm-hmm.
But I had, whatever group was working with me at the time, the purpose of doing the sectionals was so that I could work with each individual group.
Okay.
Kind of one-on-one and get, their section ready, whatever piece I was doing or section on the piece. And then the others could be focusing and still working on something instead of, altos, you're going to have to sit and wait, let me work with the sopranos, and then vice versa. But they're very distracted, they're talking and not really, doing the work. And once we get further into the piece, then I can actually kind of walk around and monitor more instead of being kind of
strapped behind
like I was tied behind the piano, plucking out notes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I happen to wonder, I know you have Mr. Fisher in that class who plays the piano, and I know he plays a lot by ear. I'd actually asked him since I left your class, does he read music? And I wondered if you had considered at all moving him behind that piano during sectionals to, pick out the melody or whatever. I wondered if you had thought about that.
I have, and I had another lady in the last semester who played piano, but again, most of them play by ear. Mm-hmm. And I teach them the notes, like we talked about the clefs and the note names. Mm-hmm. So and you showed them the keyboard and the keys on the keyboard.
Right.
So they learn those things, but I think some of them that are already done it by ear, they have a hard time connecting both together. So she was like, well, I don't really, read the music. So I've thought about it, and I think he would be more successful at it. I think he could handle it.
Because I noticed that when you played for them, you didn't play the whole section necessarily all the time. You just picked out the first few notes, and then they kicked off. And so that might be something he could come in during halftime or after school, because he has a strong love for music. And, be willing to be one of those student leaders in your classroom who would absolutely love to be behind that piano and still practice his part, of course, when his part comes around. Freeing you up to move around to these other sections that are more off task. So that was one of the things I thought of.